Eyes down for the Good morning, people. Monday, just after 12. I've had errands to run this morning, and it's oh dear, oh dear. Oh, there's a bit of blue over there. Well, it was really nice this morning. It was bright sunshine and really warm sun, and now of course I've got to the workshop and it's come over a cast. But never mind. Never mind. The first thing I've done, I've only been here 5 minutes, is I've taken the tube out of the tailstock. I've got it in the vise, and I'm going to run the tap down it just to check. Now, I haven't a great deal of faith in the fact that this is going to make any difference, but you never know. I think the thread in here is undamaged, but there's something going on, and you can't see any damage on the male thread. So I just want to check this really, just to make sure I'm not taking it off the wrong part. I mean, I suppose it could be a chip of metal that's stuck in there. Anyway, let's get a tap wrench and let's give it a go and see what happens. I'll bring you back in a minute. Well, there you go, folks. Guess how wrong I was. It's cutting. So I've no choice with the tap. It's not adjustable. I have to just run it through and cut the thread with it. So I'm going to cut through to the bottom, and then we'll see how well it fits then. Okay. There's the evidence. There you are, you can see your cuttings. And it cut at the outer end of the thread, but as soon as it got through the first 1/4 of an inch, it went free and cut and just glided through the rest. So I think that is now going to be perfectly smooth. But let's bang it back together and find out after we've cleaned it out, of course. Right then, here we go. Right, folks, time for the test. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Straight back. And smoothly outwards. All the way. That's it, that's the stop point. Excellent. Job done. Tailstock restored. As I say, if I need to do any more to the oh, it's perfect. If I need to do any more to the taper, I shall do that when it's on the machine. I don't like these reamers are hand reamers, so I won't be putting anything in the chuck and jamming it into there. It's too risky. But if I need to do some more, I will do. But that's it for the tailstock. That pin needs tapping in a little bit more, but other than that, it's all working lovely. Oh yes. All the locks work, this works. This works rather better than I thought it would, because these clamps are, these cam clamps are sometimes people have leaned on them and worn them and bent them, but these are good. And also there is, of course, the big square nut underneath, which you can adjust 1/4 of a turn at a time, so you can actually bring it up very close until you've got literally 1/4 of a turn and it's locked. It's come to a solid stop as that. I might even be able to get another 1/4 of a turn in it, but I don't want to, because it would be down there if I did that. So there you go. So, tailstock finished. Right. Next job. I am now going to, first of all, lower this to the ground, get some heat on these couplers and get these out. Then I'm going to vacuum all the rust and dust out the bottom of it, and then I'm going to put some bungs in it and put an airline on it and check it for leaks. And if I know it doesn't leak, I shall then continue further with my build of the new heater, because I'm going to need one. Even if I don't need one again this year, I'm going to need it next year. And knowing me, I'd leave it till the last push up, and then I'll be working in a cold workshop trying to get it going, which is no good. Plus the fact, if this of course goes all together and it doesn't actually work properly, I've got plenty of time to build something else. But I think this will work okay. Right, off we go. I'll bring you back when I'm doing something interesting, should that ever happen. Bye now. So, there we are folks. We've got the old connections out after a great deal of heating and riving with the Stiltons. I've blown the tank up, I've rigged up 3 bungs and a valve, and I've blown the tank up and she doesn't leak. Thank goodness. So tomorrow I can crack on with the rest of the bits and pieces. I've cut 2 studs there to weld back on there as repairs, and I'm just about to I was just about to V that broken connection out for here when I realised how late it was. It's home time. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Morning folks. Tuesday, 12:34, and somehow, because I brought quite a lot of stuff with me to bring to Langtoft, which is why I brought it with me, because I was coming to Langtoft, I've got into tidying up mode. Oh, I know why. I brought some more wash hand soap, and of course the sink was filthy, so that had to be cleaned. And then I thought, I need to tell Dell about the motor, because Dell asked a question about the motor for the that's Machine Nut Dell asked a question about the motor, I think it was him anyway, for the Holbrook. Now there it is. This is as it was fitted, and I took it off the lathe to move it. Now it was fitted onto there, which is a T-slot, right? But because it didn't quite, because the top pulley that matches with this pulley wasn't quite high enough, they'd ground a huge lump out of there, which I didn't like. So what I did was I repaired that lump, and I'm going to mount something similar to that higher. But I believe what you need to do in order to get the full number of speeds out of the lathe is be able to slide this pulley backwards and forwards, right, so that those 3 line up with the other 3, if you want to say drive from that big one to that small one, or vice versa. So I'm going to redesign this more along the lines of what this lathe would originally have come with in its standalone form. Now I've got these here which will bolt to there and to there, right? And what these are, I'll actually probably get some slightly smaller than that. What these are fittings for the tubular handrails that you see in every precinct in the universe, right? But I've got a lot of this tube. I've got a lot of this tube to use. So what I'm planning is 2 feet on the floor, adjustable. There's a hole in there, and there's a matching hole in the other end. So I'm going to put a long bar between there, with a bolt on either end, with clamps here. That's going to reinforce the bottom. The top is going to have this is going to have 2 pieces sticking out to the tubes and 2 T's on, right? And then it's going to go up above the lathe, up here where my hand is there. It's going to go up above the lathe to put the pulley in the position it would have been originally on the standalone lathe. I then need to work out a clutch, which could be as simple as moving the motor, using the weight of the motor, which is considerable, to tension the belt, and tilting the motor plate back upwards to disconnect the drive, i.e. a slip pulley, or a jockey pulley or something like that. But that's generally my idea. So that is, this part is going to be mounted. I'm going to have to cut a keyway through here and cut a keyway in that shaft, which is not a problem. Move these further apart, get as much free shaft as I can, right, so that I can slide that along, and then that's going to be mounted up here somewhere. If you look on lathes.co.uk at the B9, at the Holbrook B9, you'll see the original setup with the B9. Now mine isn't quite that type of B9. The type of B9 it shows is the one that has a solid box casting at this end with the motor inside it, with two extension arms going upwards, with the countershaft on it and the motor in the foot. Right, now mine didn't come like that. Mine appears to have come in the direct drive from overhead countershafting. But there you go. We can make it something like, we can give a nod to the original. There's the feet for in the bottom of my tubes to support the weight. So this won't be supporting the weight, this will be just anchoring it all in together. So that's what I intend to do. And there's the original motor, which is very heavy. It's only a 3/4 horsepower as well, single phase. So I'm sure we can make a drive. Of course, that is virtually the next job, to crack on with that, because I have now virtually completed the lathe. I want to take the compound slide off again and sort that nut out. But other than that, she's virtually complete. All of a sudden, it's finished. I mean, there are bits and pieces to do here and there, but I don't like this. But it works. I need to make a nice piece of round steel for there, with a nice chamfer on it, so that it matches, so that will actually make that. That was what was on it. That's just a bodge up. That needs cleaning up properly. Oh, I need to do these Allen screws as well. Little jobs. There's little jobs left to do, but not much. But today I'm mainly going to be on with this when I've finished having my mad tidy up. So I'm going to crack on with that now and see how far I get. Okay, bye now. Right folks, we're over the Rubicon for welding, but I think I'll have a go at TIG brazing that, just to see. I've probably got enough gas left to TIG braze it. We'll see, but that'll be tomorrow. I've got those two studs to weld on the back of the boiler. That'll be tomorrow. I've been raking through my, apart from tidying up, I've been raking through my souvenirs. I've found two boiler connectors, 22mm, and I've found a pump, which is a good pump. I've just tested it. That's got a 22mm valve on one end. I shall probably have a 22mm valve for the other end. So then it's just a case of assembly. I've probably got some pieces of 22mm pipe kicking around in scrap. That looks like 22mm there. Yep, that's 22mm. That could be 3/4 actually, but oh yeah, I've got another piece there and there. So I have plenty of pieces of 22mm. I shall, of course, probably change it to plastic. As soon as I get away from the heat of the boiler, I'll change it to plastic. So what have I been doing? Well, as you can see, the bench needs tidying down, but the workshop has had a sort. I've got the cement mixer and the lawnmower back in the Luton where they go. I've had a sort out in here. I've put my little cupboard in that corner and started putting stuff in it and on it. I've stood that on a piece of wood just to stop it rusting at the bottom, and I've had a damn good side up, so it's a lot better. It's a lot nicer to work in. I did it because there was a loose end this morning. I thought, what shall I do? I've got to come here tomorrow. I shall get the angled magnet and fix those on there and just tack them on. I could even TIG those on, but I'm sure I can and well, I know I can do them with MIG anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's a bit fatter there. I'll just make some spaces to go over it. So right, that's it for Tuesday, folks. I'm going home because I live there, and tomorrow morning before I do anything I'll tidy this bloody bench up. I found some nice dense rubber that is it's rubber floor tile that would go very successfully around the edge of these to cushion them, and probably in the middle too. So what I have to do now is make a box that square, and I think I've got some ideal lightweight metal to make it out of, and once that's done we put the fan in the one end and we connect the duct into the other end. And I think probably, given the fact that this ceiling here is lower than that ceiling, if we put a tank, it needs to be something small, on top of that box above that motor there, above that fan. If we put a tank up there, a little header tank, we put 2 pipes up the corner straight across there, go through that hole that will not have a duct in it anymore, hang the radiator unit from the ceiling up there, do away with this, hang the radiator unit in the ceiling up there, from the ceiling up there, move that along to next to it, and then off we go with a ducted air heating system once again. So it's all coming together. Right, I'm going to go now. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Morning folks, Wednesday. Part 1 of the welding achieved. I'm just going to make a gasket for that out of some ceramic blanket and put it back on. I've just cut a couple of spaces to cover over the welds, and we're ready to reassemble that bit. So I shall do that. Bye now. There we go folks, 1:10 job done. I should never have taken that off because it was perfectly sealed, but now it's perfectly sealed again with some glass fibre rope behind it. So there you go. Right, on to this. Oh look, by the magic of Scrapman, it's all gone. Onto this. Let's see. It's very thin. It's a very thin casting. But let's see if we can do anything with it. Let's see if we can do anything with it. And have a little crack at. I'm going to start off with the TIG, I think, and see if I can TIG braze it. I've already cleaned a lug over there for my earth, so I shall have a go at some TIG brazing and see if it will in fact take. So it's quite fine grained and nice and shiny, but it's not cast steel, because if it was it wouldn't have bloody broken that, and yet for a cast iron piece it's very thin. But there you go. Right, I'll get set up and I'll bring you back. Well, I've got it stuck on. And I mean stuck, because there's all sorts of black crap coming out of it. I've got the underneath done, I've got the upstairs half done, and I've run out of gas. So what do I do now? Do I risk it and TIG it? Because to be honest, there's so much shit coming out of this cast iron that I won't be at all surprised if it just falls to bits when I try and reassemble it. But no matter, we will get there. It is actually, no, it's like the curate's egg. It's good in parts. There are some areas. I mean, I've got a nice little edge of bright cast iron, and when you actually warm that up and see it glow and touch it with the brass, it brazes beautifully. It's just as easy, well, perhaps not as easy as doing it with a flame, but because it's all bathed in argon and you've got absolutely no oxygen there at all, it brazes really well. I mean, I must admit, these bits at the end here, I actually just melted the cast together and it seemed to work well. I thought, well, I could almost weld this. And of course then you move along a bit and you get a different area of the iron, and it just bubbles and evaporates, and you're left with a really rough surface. Anyway, I'm going to grind this up underneath and see how good it is. I mean, I'm going to put a big rope seal on this anyway, so it doesn't have to be a gasket or anything. I'm going to put a big rope seal on it and see how it goes. I might even actually cut a piece of ceramic wool, make a ceramic wool gasket that comes right out to here, because then it would be equally supported all the way around, and it wouldn't be as much pressure pushing down on this corner. It would be more even. I think that's what I'll do. And then we'll have to see if we can't put it back on, and if not, we'll go on to something else. Never mind, eh? Right, I'll grind it up and I'll bring you back. Success! It's on and it's tightened down and it hasn't cracked. Isn't that good? I put a thick layer, I didn't bother with a gasket, I put a thick layer of black fire seal round it and squeezed it down into it, and it's gone down beautiful. So that's it, job's done, all sealed. So next I'm going to do the doors. I have to take the old fire rope out of the doors, which I assume will be asbestos, so I'm going to do that underwater, and then put new fire rope in the doors, and then tap the holes and put the glasses back in, and then I think it's about finished. I've got to sort these out because these don't go in properly, they're jamming, and I don't know why they're jamming, because they're not Bob Marley, but they need repairing. But I think I'll just reuse them because they're only ash pans at the end of the day. So they need cleaning up. But the bottom rope here seems to be absolutely fine. It seems to be sealing against the edge where it's supposed to. So that's okay. So I've got the two doors to do, put new rope in and put the glasses back in, and I've got something to do with this thermostat, because the thermostat that was on it was knackered. Now I have another one, but I don't think that the little tube thermal sensor will reach from there to there. But who knows, I'll go and find it, I'll bring it back, I'll see if it will. Bye now. And there we have it, folks. One that I saved years and years ago, off a coke-fired central heating boiler. Right? It won't quite go on there, but we can modify that to mount it somewhere, and that doesn't quite reach to the pocket, but can actually be taped to the side of the copper pipe. And I've tested it, and it, sorry to cause you horrible seat sickness there, I've tested it and it works. That will bolt onto there like that, and there's the damper flap. So that's that sorted. So next, I'm going to take the doors off and soak them overnight in a bowl of water, so that the horrible asbestos rope in them is softened and ready to be removed. And then I want to see what's wrong with these bloody ash pans. Why won't they go in? But first I might actually now that I've more or less finished at the back of it, just turn it round. Just turn it round so that I can get to the front of it, so I can work on it properly. Right, it's coming on. Onward. Well folks, I've just had one of those the pennies dropped moments. Right? What has happened here is that this has filled with rust and swelled and pushed this edge out in the middle, which is why the doors won't fit, because they're not going far enough back. If I can knock all that rust out of there and tap this back into its correct position, does that even fix onto there? That just fits onto there, doesn't it? Oh, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But that is the rust is coming out of there and it is tapping back together, so that should be able to. That's actually the air wash, isn't it? That's got to be the air wash for the for keeping the glass clean. Yes, it's got to be the air wash vent for keeping the glass clean. So I'll tap that out and we'll see if we can't sort this out and get these doors fitting without changing the ropes in them, because the ropes in them, I've just scraped the rust off them and they're actually in very good condition. So let's go on with that and see if we can make a difference. Morning folks. Well, if I actually lift that, it fits. It closes up. So I've cured that. So that was caused by that filling up with rust and crap and swelling. Right, now I've knocked it back and I've also opened up the air wash for keeping the glasses clean. That's fixed. But of course I've had a disaster. Oh look, a TIG weld on cast iron that's impossible to do. Well, it's not impossible to do, it works rather well. But you don't do it, you don't run it as a bead, you run it as dots. Bip, 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 bip. And it's a beautiful weld. I don't think I've had one break yet. I mean, it depends entirely on the quality of the cast iron. Although I've welded some things that were so awful, that the cast iron was so awful that you would never have thought it would have lasted. On a Series 2 Land Rover, I welded the lugs which were missing. I created lugs on the end of the cast iron where the manifold, exhaust manifold, bolts to the cylinder head. And I looked at them and I thought, they're just going to break off. They're just going to break off. So I put a new gasket on and I put the little clamps on the top and I tightened the clamps down. And that was still on that Land Rover when I sold it, years later. So, it can be done. You have to be a bit careful and you have to do little blobs and not run a weld. Right, and then let it cool slowly. So, of course, I was tapping that rail back into place. And the door, this catch isn't quite as tight as it should be, and it fell open and the door slammed down, hit the hammer and broke that off. So there you are. So I've had to drive these pins out, which meant grinding the bosses off the end, but we've done it. So now this is virtually finished. I can clean it. I've got to clean out underneath and make the ash pans fit properly and mend the ash pans, which is a minor job, and then I can put the glands in the back, put the water connections in the back, and it's done. So we need to get a flow, a return, a drain off point, and a fill. I suppose we could put a fill point to the. It would probably be easier to put a fill point straight to the back of the boiler. Put a combined expansion and top up pipe into the back of the boiler. Probably with a drain off at the bottom of it. That would work. Anyway, we'll see what we've got and we'll crack on. Right. Bye now. Right folks. Thursday, 1:21. I've got these fitting properly. The problem was a ridge under there that was catching. And I'm just making some liners for them because they're rusted out. And what can I say about my little middle of little plasma cutter. For this sheet metal, it's bloody excellent. It blasts it out in no time. I've just cut these two, well, I cut the other piece out completely, but I cut this one out with a guillotine, and I thought, why am I using the guillotine? I should be using my plasma cutter. And I just bashed these corners out with the plasma cutter, and it's fantastic. Really is good. So much easier and cuts so fast. I've probably even got it set too high, but there you go. It's cutting beautifully. Right, I'm going to get that folded up, and that's number 2 done. I have fixed, I've shown you my cock up that I fixed. I've got the pins cleaned up. I've got the interior of the thing at last cleaned up, and we're almost ready for an assemble. The only job I have to do now is to drill these out to 2BA tapping size, which I may have actually put them at already, I can't remember, and then make some strips to hold the glass in and refit the glasses, although I may leave those out because I've got some stove black coming, so I may leave those out and black those first and then put them in. Doesn't matter. I can get it in position, I can get the plumbing in the back and get it in position and start plumbing it in. Right, off we go. And there we are, folks, 203, and everything fits. Even the non-jamming repaired ashtrays. Lovely. Thank God for that. A grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. There you are. This is not asbestos. It's actually glass fibre. This must be from the 70s, or even maybe the early 80s, because it's all metric. All the bolts on it are metric. All the sizes on it are metric, and it's got glass fibre. No, it'll be from the 80s, won't it? Because it's got glass fibre rope in it as opposed to asbestos rope. It's all glass fibre rope, so it's safety rope, if you like. So there we are. So I've ordered some stove blacking, lots of, which is on its way. And when I've wire brushed it and blacked it, I shall put those glasses. In fact, I'll take them off. And I'll drill them and tap them again, should it be necessary to drill them again. And then we're ready for blacking it, putting the glass in and installing it. Oh, I've got plumbing bits to put on the back, plumbing outlets to put on the back. So I shall probably use that flow, that return, so that it's flowing diagonally across the boiler. I might use that for a feed expansion and that for a drain off. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what I've got. Right then, but now I'm going for a cup of tea. And when I come back, I'm going to have a bloody good tidy up, because we're a bit of a mess again. In fact, I'm going to go around and switch lights off. I've been welding and grinding, and I'm covered in rust, of course, and shit and crap and all sorts. But never mind, such is life. Right, the welder's off, the gas is off. That light can go off. And I'm going for a cup of tea. See you later. There we go, folks. Thursday, 4:30. Tidy workshop, reasonably tidy bench, and we're all back to rights again. So tomorrow I can connect the plumbing fittings up, put the plumbing fittings in, make some little strips of metal and tap the holes for fixing the glass in, and then I can move it into place and start assembling. What I'm going to do with the tin box that goes around it, I don't know. I scrapped that side because it was absolutely rotten. That side isn't much better. The roof's alright, but I might just bash a wire brush across it and stick some stove black on it or something, see what it comes out like. Right, I'm off home because I live there. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Morning folks, Friday, and as luck would have it, I drilled these holes 5/32, or if you prefer 5/32s, which is the tapping size for 2BA. So I'm just banging the taper tap in, then I'm going to bang the plug tap in and find 4 little brass screws this time, not steel ones. As you can see, some of my drilling was a little bit haphazard. On this one, because I started drilling down the screw, ran off slightly and then realised that the screw was nowhere near in the centre of the metal. So I re-drilled that one where it is in the centre of the metal, and it's made a much better job. Then I have to make some of these. I have to make 4 of those, right, which is a simple bend and a hole drilled, which drop onto there like that and retain the glass. Well, I think I can make them out of this handy galvo metal, which is quite rigid but strong enough for the job, especially when it's folded like that. So I shall crack onto that and I shall bring it back when I'm getting somewhere. I've got the glasses here cleaned up. One of the glasses has these strips on the edge which appear to be very soft aluminium with a fillet in the back. Now I haven't got any aluminium that thin or that soft, but I may have some zinc which may do the same job. One glass was in with those, the other glass was in with that piece of glass fibre rope, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes back in with a bit of glass fibre rope. I would prefer to just wrap it like that though and put them back in both the same, but then I am a bit of a bloody perfectionist thanks to my autism. Right, let's carry on. See you in a minute. Right folks, 4 brass screws found from my wonderful selection of BA nuts and bolts. Well, BA and metric and small. First of 4 folded and fitted. And very well it works too. So, I have another 3 of those to make. And then, I'm going to take the glasses out again and leave them out until I've treated the doors with the furnace black or whatever it is, and then I can put those back on and job's a good one. But I'm just going to pop up to Keith to sort out some woodwork problems for him, so I shall take you with me. Bye now. Here we are folks, in Dingley Dell, putting the wooden lining over the concrete into in the underfloor heated wonderfulness of Keith's house. Right, I'm going back to the workshop. Bye now. Right folks, back in the workshop, and I'm setting up the second one, and it's just struck me that by a roundabout route I actually have a metal folder, right? So having not used that before, because at the end of the day it belonged to Nut System Rebuild, it belonged to Langtoff.net, LN Communications, the company I was director of, and I got left with it. I've never really used it, and I found when I did try to use it that it won't fold very thick metal. However, we're not folding very thick metal, so perhaps I ought to give it a go and see if it works. Okay, we'll do that next. Bye now. Right folks, there we are, there's two made. And I shall now swap onto the XLNC bender and see if it's any good. Watch this space. Luckily I have plenty of tin. Bye now. Well folks, we failed at the first hurdle and we failed at the second hurdle, which is not possible. The first hurdle was, I thought, oh right, we can put the spine of the folder in the vise, but you can't. It needs to be clamped to a table or bolted to a table, so I've bolted it to a table. And then I looked at this and I thought, oh, you can't actually get a piece of metal in between there. No, you can't, because it doesn't work like that. You put the metal underneath this piece, which is loose, and then you clamp it down to hold the metal and bend it up. So I'm assuming that there's parts missing, but no matter, I've got 3 little G-clamps. I can put 3 little G-clamps on it and persevere. Unfortunately I've only got one handle, but I'm sure I can soon mock up a second one. Right, this is becoming an exercise in sort of, not futility, but pointlessness, but I'm good at them. Bring you back in a minute. Right folks, I've set it up. It is a bit of a faff. And I can't imagine why there's nothing to clamp that on. But that's the way you do it. There's no gap in there that you can get a piece of metal up, so let's give it a try. Well, that looks... Did that move back? No, it didn't. Only the thickness of the metal. That was very easy. And it looks very neat. However, I've just thought of something. Can I actually do the second bend? Let's have a look at that. That is very neat, isn't it? Right, I'll mark this up and we'll set it up again and see if we can do the second bend. I'll bring you back in a minute. I've swapped sides, people, because I've now put you on charge. Basically, here I am. Basically, it won't do it. Right? I can't work out a way, fathom a way that I can clamp that to get a bend so close to that bend in the other direction. Perhaps I should have done this bend first. But even so, I can't see another way you can get the second one. But there's no gap here. You can see that if I could fit that down there and then put that on that side and bring that over, that would fold the second half, but you can't, because there's no gap and there's no adjustment. That's all permanently fixed, so you can't do it. So it's only the angle irons that will do it. So I'm going to swap back onto the angle irons. There we go. Bye now. Right, that's it. I'll just make a mark on either end of the tin, tap the marks down, tap the tin down until the marks line up with the angle iron, tighten the vise up, and then you have to push it like that. Bend done, right? And then I have a huge piece of steel which I just tap on there, big hammer. Stand by for camera jump. And there we are. Job's a good one. I'll just get my panel hammer. Just go down that edge. And there we have it. Have a bit I've cut it a bit skewy from a bit higher at this end, but I can now trim that with the tin snips. But that's it. Ugh, stronger than I think. So that's it. So on the end of there, you've got the required bend, which matches this very closely. So all I have to do now is drill a hole in that edge. Oh, that edge, yeah, that's the edge, that doesn't matter, that's the edge that doesn't matter, that's inside the door. Drill a hole in there and then trim this edge to suit, cut this edge to suit. So there you go. It's a simple process, but it just seems, if anybody can see a way that I could have done it with this, put it in the comments. But I've looked and I've studied and I can't see a way. So there you go. Right, onward, I'll go drill the hole in it. Bye now. Right folks, there we are. After a lot of trimming and bending and fine tuning, we have got them to a perfect fit. So that's that job finished. So we're getting very close now. I think next I shall put the plumbing on, and then we can start to think about getting it into place. Although I might jack it up on there and just give the body a quick wire brushing off while I've got the door, in fact take it outside and do it while I've got the doors open and it's nice weather, and then all the dust and crap goes outside the workshop and not inside it. I'll do that. And there we have it folks. What a difference a week of utterly filthy work makes. Right? All repaired, everything fixed, everything working. Let that go back like that. Oh, hang on. These are interlocked. You have to take that one out first, then you have to take that one out. So there we are. You have to get that to come out with there, because that's also an interlock, which means that if this door is open you can't shut these. So you have to close this first, like that, and then close that this one, which now closes against the seals because that has tipped down a little bit, otherwise it's in the way. And there we are. There we are. All ready for some stove blacking. Well, it's 4:37. The witching hour has caught up with me once again. So, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from him. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm still getting about 75 or 80% of my viewers not subscribed. Just do it. Just click the button. It doesn't take a second. Right? And it pushes the channel forward. It gets it seen by more people. That is, of course, if you think it should be seen by more people. Perhaps you don't. Right. Send me a comment. Send me a like. And I'll see you all next week. Bye now. Whoops. Camera's slipping out of hand. Bye now.